Yeah. Rapid Africa. Tia. All day, all day. Either find we, then we'll find we today. Rise up, rise up.
Hello, family. This is Afia Koomson with Africans Leaving America. This video that you're getting ready to see is a video interview with me and Dr. Kensani. This interview was not planned. We pretty much freestyled it. We were waiting on a gentleman to join us, but he never showed up for the interview. So she was intrigued about the last interview that I did about Black love with Sharita and Emmanuel. And we just decided to keep the topic going. These are our views on Black love and some things that we need to do to come together as far as one unit with our continental brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed the interview because I did. You all have a wonderful night, day, or evening.
So if you can, open up your mindset to say, I just want somebody who's African, no matter what part of the world he's from, because we're in all four corners. The sky is the limit, so I was one of those because of my interaction with African men here in America. And then when I started seeing the statistics, I was like, well, it's literally a miracle. If I'm to get a Black American man, it's a miracle. How are women going to fight over one man?
And I mean, and I feel like that's why African American men, it's so easy for them to cheat. Because we are many as women over here. Most of our men are either in jail, or tied up with a white woman, what I'm saying, or just not no good,
Right. Or they don't want a woman.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, like the Black woman in America, we against all odds.
And understand in America, there are 11 of us to one Black American man. It would behoove you, because that statistic doesn't even include, the men that are locked up, the men that are gay, the men who don't date Black women, and then the men who don't want to be married, because everybody's not called to be married. Marriage is a ministry. And marriage is not for everybody. I don't even count that. So that means that it's even less. There's probably really 15 of us to a Black American man. So it's good to be open-minded and to just accept whoever God allows to cross your paths, be educated and try to get rid of those stereotypes, which is another huge roadblock for us, the stereotypes. And I just ask people to remember there's one common enemy and we're not it. It's someone who doesn't look like us. I call them the uncooked chicken. And they have lied about both of us to each other. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we highlight this is the enemy, and we need to tear down those stereotypes that we have about each other and get to know each other. Because there could be a whole lot more intercontinental relationships. It's almost like I see more white women marrying continental Africans than diasporian Africans. And it's like,
and if you think about it, they started it first.
Right.
White women started before us,
Right.
They started going over there and they started getting African men as well as Jamaican men to marry, and we basically stuck to our men over here in America because we don't want white men, so we stick to whatever we have to go through with American men. A lot of us did. We went through a lot with American men, and it wasn't until we came into ourselves and got to know who we were and our worth as women where we looked outside of the box and went to Africa, because we know in Africa they value marriage. They value family, and they also value, the whole togetherness as a whole, and that was one of the reasons why I looked outside of Africa. Now, before I met my husband, I was talking to an African guy in Liberia, and I didn't go to Liberia to see him, but he really opened my eyes to the culture and how things work and the tradition and the family, and no offense to him, but I kind of saw that he wasn't honest as far as, you know, relationships goes. He had another girlfriend there in Nigeria, in Liberia. Well, in that point in time, when I was on my way to leaving him alone, my husband sent me a friend request. Now, me and him, we didn't have any mutual friends. You know, he just found me out of a haystack. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did. Wow. I mean, he just found me out of a haystack, and you know, that's how we got together. I call it divine intervention. Absolutely. But I just want African American women to not be afraid of African men, because if marriage is something that you want, then stick with an African, because you will be able to become a wife with them. You know, now don't just accept any type of African man just because you want to be married. Make sure you weigh your options and you get to know exactly who they are. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get to know exactly who they are. But it's more than enough for African men to go around. More than enough.
Yeah. I don't know our statistics. I haven't looked at them in a while, but African people have always been the minority. Excuse me, not minority, the majority in the world. And this is why non-melanated people work so hard at trying to mess with our fertility and our family structure and even our health. And it's really bad. The worst is here in America. Yes. And this is why, you know, we have obstacles that are unique to the Black American experience, because the attack is so much greater. You know, they're constantly pushing sexual confusion, constantly pushing healthcare tactics where Black people have the highest amount of adverse events, you know, that typically are revolved around messing with our neurological system, you know, our mental status, or our fertility. Because no one is as fertile as us. Yeah,
nobody's as fertile as a Black woman, not in a Black man.
No one. And they know it. They spreaded a lie that they are superior, but just know everything that they say is the opposite. You know, our men, their sperm is longer, thicker, stronger. You know, women, Black women, our fertility is more rapid. I used to hear of a preacher that would say, I can walk past my wife and she's pregnant. It ain't nothing for, for a Black woman to be able to get pregnant. You can't even play around with certain methods of birth control, pulling out. She's still
gonna get pregnant.
Just from you can't even play them games with us because we're so fertile. So, there's a part of me that kind of grieves for us, and especially for our men, because the generations of, very deliberate attack on our family and keeping us separate and divided. I almost feel like it's working. I almost feel like it. So many of both of us, the men and women, are, just suffering from just so much abuse it literally is making it hard for us to get together. And I'm like, that's the whole purpose. Like, what they did is working.
Divide and conquer,
It is. And so the majority of Black American men do marry Black women. Even though if you watch TV in America, you wouldn't think that, because they're pushing the multiracial relationships. Yeah, because
me and my husband was talking about that the other day. Especially it's like bad. On these Netflix shows. I mean, you always see either a white man and a Black woman, or a Black. I mean, you see either or. You really do. It's in every show.
It is. They know. I think for the past 2 years, white people in America, their death rate is higher than their birth rate. Yeah. And so they've been doing a couple of things. They've been allowing, as you know, on a lot of our applications, Hispanic people can check off white, and they can check another box that says white, Hispanic, non-Hispanic. So they've been allowing Hispanics to come under their privilege to booster their numbers. And then they've been trying to mingle with us, because they know that more mixed race children marry white than marry Black. But, there's part of me that kind of, grieves for that. I wish things weren't so difficult, sometimes between Black American men and women. But again, statistically, we all not gonna get one.
Right.
We all not gonna get one.
Right.
So
it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of us as unmarried, and it's just it is what enough. It is.
Yeah, it's not enough of them for Black American women that want one. So really cutting short, you're shortening you're making your pool smaller when you're not inclusive of Africans from anywhere. I just say take your time, and for a lot of people that have a lot of different complaints, I just say make sure that you're ready, because a lot of people come online and talk a lot of junk, and there's a lot of people that are not actually ready.
Right.
Being a wife is not just, and
you have to be ready in your mind. Yeah. Because you are not dealing with an African American man, you're dealing with an African man. And their culture and their traditions and values are totally different from ours.
Totally. Yeah. There's a few things that, if you spend time with them, you can say, oh, that's similar to this. And our family does this. Very small, small things. I even see when I go to South Africa. Like the first time I saw them boiling peanuts, I was like, y'all boil peanuts? It's like, oh yeah, we boil and put a little salt. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm thinking that we made that up in Africa and in America, and it's African. So definitely you got to have patience and understanding culturally, because it is. And then get yourself together. Like, don't come online talking junk about people and you're not even ready. You're not even wife material. Exactly. Like you got a lot more homework to do. You got baggage, you got healing, you got a whole line of Johnny, Tim, and John, all these guys that you got a suitcase for each one of them. And
a lot of soul ties.
Right. Relationship, this don't work and that don't work. And it's like, okay, what is your percentage of the relationship failing? Because it ain't never 100% on one person. Be honest, because, we can't act like women ain't playing games either.
Exactly. And us as Black women, we have a lot of baggage. We do. We have a lot of, well, not all of us, but a lot of us have a lot of soul ties. You know what I'm saying? A lot of father issues. Yeah. And that daddy issue, that's really serious. When you're trying to become a wife, it is.
Yeah. I didn't know how bad it was until I left home to go to school. Left home to go to college. I'm gonna say I had probably about 15 or 16 really close girlfriends, and I was the only girl in my group that was a virgin. I was maybe one of 3 girls that grew up with her father, and I was the only one in the group that had never been sexually abused. And I was like, oh my goodness.
And I'm gonna tell you something. When you don't have a father in your life, you are like a predator. I mean, a prey.
Yeah. It's
you are. It's so easier because they say, well, she doesn't have nobody protecting her. Right. It's easy to do. Right. It is. It is.
And it makes it a little difficult for you to be able to make really good decisions about your male relationships, right? Because your father is supposed to be like a template. You're not going to find anybody like him, but as far as his character and integrity, seeing how a man should treat you, my father, I had my mother and father were married for 37 years. So I noticed that guys know, like they know the girls who are lacking that. Girls who don't. So the guys that have their pants sagging, their hat backwards, my father would call them jittybugs. The guys that just look like they just up to no good. Talk to them. They never approach me because they know, like, okay, she know. Like,
they know that you are of a different class.
Yeah.
Like you were raised with your father.
You. Right. Told me about you. So just keep on walking. But there's a lot of things that can complicate us coming together. But with being open-minded and patient and being patient with each other, especially, you know, Black Americans, because I like to say that, and I think I said this on the post, we're all family. We're just under two different roofs.
Exactly.
You know, and it's nothing wrong with you, you know, going to the other house saying, you know, I'm open to having a relationship, you know, because we're all, you know, we're all
family.
Right.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we have a lot in common. You know, I noticed this about my husband, like, you know, when he talks about his stories, you know, from back when he was younger, you know, it's like I can relate. You know, we have so much in common. We just been separated for hundreds of years.
Right.
You know?
And not by choice. You know,
exactly.
We didn't ask to leave the house. We were taken out of the house.
Yeah.
So other than that, we were fine being under one roof. So there's significant power in that. But we definitely need to be more deliberate about being together, whether it's with someone from your home country or another. You know, we definitely need to be deliberate about that. And I hope that more intercontinental couples wouldn't mind speaking up. It's, you know, they're not obligated to, but it would be really, really nice to hear more from intercontinental relationships, just because it's encouraging, you know.
It's very encouraging.
You know, the Coming to America movie really ushered in an era with Black American women I think that was the beginning of destroying the image of continental Africans in America. That first Coming to America movie was like the beginning of so many African men saying that they were princes and kings and chiefs. And that really, I was young then, so I wasn't even dating because I was like, I don't know, maybe a teenager or maybe younger than that. But that really ushered in like a lot of, you know, I think a lot of continental African men were taking advantage of a lot of Black American women just being kind of obsessed with, you know, how you can be around a chief or a king or even a prince and not even know it, right?
Yeah,
because that was in the movie, right?
It was
just an ordinary guy, right? But now we have to undo that because Coming to America was satire. Okay, that was satire, and not all continental Africans are
princes or kings,
right? And princes and kings, right?
You know,
right, yep.
So, Christine, what would you say to a sister that is afraid of dating an African man because of the stereotypes? What would you say to her?
I would say to her that she has to do her research. You know, we research about everything else, you know, before we get a new cell phone, before we go buy a car, before we get a house, you know, research, you know, you should want to know about Africa. So do your homework, be educated. And I'm a woman of faith. So even if you don't do your homework, I would say if you have a prayer life, that right there, I can just put a period right there. To have a prayer life so that, you know, you can pray. I have literally prayed about certain people. And the next time I got on the phone with them, you know, one guy, he thought he switched over the line to answer another phone call, but I could still hear him. And what he said was something that let me know, cut him off. It wasn't good. And that was none but the Holy Ghost. I knew that was God because I had already asked, reveal this man's intentions and his heart. Whatever it is, I just need to know because I don't want to waste my time.
Exactly.
So have a prayer life, you know, so that you can find out, you know, things that you would never know, you would never find out physically. And to be open-minded. You know, to be open-minded, know that your options are huge. They're beyond the borders of whatever country you live in, you know, and a lot of times women, we don't know. Men typically know before us. And I think that has something to do with the garden, the Garden of Eden. They typically know that we're in before we ever know. We be looking around like, what? You're going to be my wife. I don't even know you, sir.
Right.
Like, I don't know you, but God just gives it to them. Like they know before us. So, you know, don't be so quick to dismiss it, but definitely be open-minded, take your time, and continue to pray and do your research.
And what would you say about our African brothers on the continent? What advice would you give to them about the women over here?
Well, I would definitely ask them to also do their research, because there is a lot of course, bad press about Black American women in particular. And a lot of it is not the truth, but some of it is. And we are like no other Africans outside of Africa, like none of it, because our experience here is just different. So I would ask them to do their research so that they can know what they're getting into about our history, you know, because a lot of the truth is not told to continental Africans about our history. And so just do your research. Every Black American woman doesn't have an attitude, and, you know, all of us don't have a bunch of baby daddies and all the negative stuff that they tell you. So it would behoove you to do your research and then just start getting some friends.
Yeah.
So you can have those, you know, platonic relationships that can also be an insider for you. Get to know someone over here that can help navigate you to, you know, and expose you to, you know, if they're a good quality woman as a friend, then they probably know other good quality women that you may marry. So make that connection as a friendship. I think sometimes that scares some Black American women when men are so forward, because African men seem to be very forward.
I was just going to talk about that. You know,
yeah.
be patient. Don't be so forthcoming. You know, don't, you know, tell us that you love us the second time you talk to us, you know, because, you know, African American women, we don't like that. You know, like, we don't like for you to tell us. Yeah.
It's shocking. It's like,
because we are not used to that at all.
When we're not used to that. Not used to that at all. If it's honest, then great. But when you don't know somebody, it's hard to determine if that's honest, because for some people, they really do. Like I said, when men know before us, sometimes they see a woman and they know that's my wife.
Yeah.
And they may instantly, it's almost like they've been hit with something and they're like stuck on you. You won't be able to shake them because they're like, you mine, and I'm not leaving no space for no other guy to come in between me and you. Like, you're mine, right? But yeah, I would say, you know, try to pace yourself. If you're talking to a Black American woman, because we're not used to that. Yeah,
we're not. And you know, I've noticed that Black women, we like to become friends before lovers.
Yes.
You know, so if you can, you know, get in a conversation with us and we are intrigued with it, you know, you pretty much got us, you know. We like to be very, you know, involved, and, you know, we like to know that we are gaining knowledge from this person, and, you know, you're learning from them, and, you know, it's all entailed with each other, you know?
Yeah. See, that would be part of the research, because the dating is different. So in continental Africa, a lot of times people are still just marrying who, like, their parents picked. Right. And over here, that's like foreign to us. Right. Like we're so many generations removed from that. It's not that we didn't do it. We're just many generations removed from it. Yeah. So, you know, here in America, when you do your research, you'll find out. And I think I told somebody on a group that in America, we typically have 5 stages. So it's friendship first. And this is, I equate it to building a house. The foundation is friendship. Then you get to dating. Then you get to courting, which we usually mix up dating and courting. Most people don't even know what courting is. But courting is a phase. And then there's engagement, and then there's marriage. So that's the roof of your house. So that is really not a big framework in continental Africa. You know, they may have been friends, like, let's say they went to school together or church together. But a lot of times the courting, and I think it's really maybe friends and then maybe engagement and marriage. Yeah. You know, the dating and courting is not as big as it is here. So, but when you do your research, you know, you'll find out that's kind of how we operate. So, you know, to come right out and be like, I love you, You're the most beautiful thing that I ever seen.
And I don't know nothing about you. You know, I don't know your goals. I don't know what you like. I don't know nothing about you, nothing about your family, how you grew up.
Yeah,
you know, I need to know all of that. Most definitely. Well, Mrs. Kensani, this is Africans Leaving America. I am so glad that you joined me today about this Black love. You know, because Black love is a beautiful thing, and you know what? We all need it, and we all need to embrace it.
Yes, please. We need it, and we need to continue to make Black families, because we're the only people that can make beautiful brown babies. Deliberate about being together and multiplying ourselves.
Most definitely.
And that's the only way I'm going to do it. I already told God, if you thinking about lining up somebody that's non-melanated, I'll just stay single. And I mean it.
I know that's right.
Like if I don't get someone of African descent, no matter where he's from, I'll stay single. There is no other man that compares. There is no other man that is superior to the African man worldwide. Why would I be with something that is second? Not even second. They're not even in the top 10.
Right.
You know, so if I can't have the best, I don't want anything.
And that's on the period.
Yes.
2 snaps in the circle. Girl, what you said, I'm trying to tell you, honey, because there's nothing like it. Black love is everything, you know, and we have to unite and stay together and keep that, you know, together within our own sector, you know, because it's all about us at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep. All roads lead to us. Absolutely.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
Really great talking to you. You're a beautiful soul. You're such a beautiful soul.
Thank you so much, and so are you. And I appreciate everything that you do in the group, man. You know, we really got some good people inside the group, you know, and y'all moderators, you know, y'all really make the ship run, you know, and I don't know what I would do without you guys. Seriously. I love you all. I really do. And I appreciate everything y'all put inside the group. I really do.
Not a problem. It's a privilege. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for chatting with me today.
Yes, ma'am. You have a wonderful evening, honey.
You too. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Rapid Africa. Tia. All day, all day. Either find we don't go find we today. Rise up.